We're back with another project, right? Aren't you excited? I am, because every time I get a new project for you, I get so excited that I can't contain myself. I have to jump. Alright, so let's rock and roll. Today, we're going to go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years in history. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Aboriginal people, okay? The Aboriginal people are the people that inhabit Australia, okay? Other parts of the world too, but we're going to pinpoint Australia, all right? So in Australia, Aboriginal people, you see here, Aboriginal people, okay, are the inhabitants that have been in Australia for more than 60,000. That's a lot of years. That's like before your great lots of more great grandparents. Man, that's a long time ago, right? Yeah, so the Aboriginals, they were settled in Australia, and they lived there for a long time, and they've been living there for a long time, which makes them the oldest culture that we know. Yes. So the Aboriginal people of Australia is the oldest culture that we know. Culture, it means like, when a people has a a language and all the things that they do similar, they are a culture. Like, we're the American culture, they're the Aboriginal culture. Now, the Aboriginal culture is the oldest one we know. Yes, there is no other culture in the world older than the Aboriginals. Isn't that pretty cool? Ha! So you're going to learn about the oldest culture in the world. Now, because they are the oldest culture in the old world, yes, they did cave paintings. Yes, very good. I like that. Super cool. So you guessed that before I even say yes. So cave paintings like this, you see? That's an old cave painting that has more than 20,000 years old. That's very old, all right? And one thing about the Aboriginals is that their art was extremely connected to the nature, to the land, okay? Now, Australia, if you don't know, okay, is that country there in red. You see? It's a little, but no, it's not little. It's a big country. It's little on the map, but it's a huge country, okay? And Australia has a very arid, which means very dry parts, okay? So lots of deserts. So the Aboriginal people, they settled in there and they learned how to deal with the arid, how to deal with nature, and they became part of it. And so their paintings, there is a lot of nature, there's a lot of water, and the earth, and the winds, and the animals, okay? So that's where Aboriginal art is. So Aboriginal art is connected to the land. And it's so cool, it's so awesome. You have to go to Australia one day just to see Aboriginal art. It's in my agenda. I'm going to go one of these days, okay? Now, since we're not in Australia, let's talk about some Aboriginal art, and let's do some Aboriginal art ourselves, okay? So, the Aboriginal people, they are there for thousands of years. I already told you that. But then, about 400 years ago, okay, some European settlers started to go there. And it was in 1788 that the English decided to go there and make Australia a colony. So for the Aboriginal, this was a big shock because, the English came there and they're very ruthless at the time, okay? And they treat the Aboriginal people very meaningful. They're not nice to them. So the Aboriginal people, they did a little change in their art. So what they started to do is they started to use a lot of dots in geometric designs, like this one that you see in here. See? Because they don't want the white people or the English people at the time to understand their art. Because the Aboriginal art is very connected to what they call the dream time. So the dream time is part of the culture of the Aboriginal people. And what do they want to show? It's the creation of the earth. Okay? So that's why they didn't want the English to understand what was going on, or the colonizers, okay? So they change it and they adopt this kind of dot pattern, okay? That now it's part of Aboriginal art, okay? It's already more than hundreds and hundreds of years used, and the Aboriginal has done a lot of things with that. So when you see Aboriginal people doing art, it takes a lot of time. It takes very, very long time. Like you see these people working in here, okay? Probably that painting is going to take days and days to finish, all right? And what they like to do is they like to show animals, like, you know, lizards, or fish, turtles, okay? And kangaroos, yes. And they also like, you know, to decorate many things. And one interesting story is that, you know, we haven't had the Aboriginal paintings in canvas or in boards or in paper. It was about like 50 years ago that a teacher saw an Aboriginal man showing the kids an Aboriginal art on the sand. And he told him, he said, hey, why don't you use some paint and some canvas and do your Aboriginal art here? Because then it will stay forever. It's not going to go away with the wind because the wind is going to take that away. So that's how now Aboriginal art has become even more spread because people paint big canvas like this artist that you see in here. Okay, see? All right? And it's all spread around. Now, we're going to go to the table and I'm going to show you some ways. What's this? Can you hear it? Ha! Isn't that pretty cool? So that's an ancient instrument, is the didgeridoo. Yeah, this instrument right here, which is an Aboriginal instrument, okay? And it's typical from Australia. That's the only place in the world where you can find it, okay? In the Oceania or the lands in Australia and around it. So it's an Aboriginal instrument, and it's actually, that instrument, what is quite interesting is that, like everything the Aboriginal does, it's connected to nature, and they wanted to kind of imitate the animals when the sun comes out. You want to hear a little more? That's pretty cool, right? Okay, so Mr. Souza, enough talking. Let's go to the table and let's make some Aboriginal art. Here we go. Okay, so you're going to need some cotton swab. See, cotton swab, like the one you clean your ears, okay? So I have the long ones, which is the same thing. So I'm going to use like 4 or 5 of them. Okay, you're going to need your pencil. You're going to need your water to clean up your brush. You're going to need the brush too. You're going to need your paper towel, right? And the paint, the color, you were the artist, so you choose the colors. I have here always the primaries and black and white, okay? And red, of course, all right? So here we go. Get your pencil and we're going to draw a turtle. So what are we going to do is draw kind of an oval shape, okay? Any kind of an oval shape that you can do. See? And then think about the leaf of a tree, like, you know, for the paws of the turtle, okay? Or the flappers, or swimming flappers, okay? So we're going to put 2 on one side, and then we're going to kind of put 2 the same way on the other side, okay? So 1, 2. Try to put in the same direction. See that? Like 1, 2. Okay, now for the head, think about the letter U. See, look, a big letter U for the head. Okay, and for the tail, just a little V or a triangle. See, now my turtle is ready. I'm going to start painting now. I'm going to use my cotton swab. I'm going to get my paint, and I'm going to start with one color only. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my paint on the palette. I'm going to get my cotton swab, and I'm going to very, very gently, see, very gently I'm going to touch it, okay? See, very gently, so I don't have a lot of paint on there, because if I put too much, the dot is not going to look like a dot, okay? If that happens, if I like to put too much, then don't do it. Just clean it a little bit, okay? All right? And then you're going to have a dot. So you can put several dots one time that you tap it on the paint. It doesn't have to be just one. And follow the line of the turtle or whatever animal you're drawing. I just chose the turtle to show you, okay? See, you can put like 3 or 4 dots before you run out of paint. And try, remember, to use just a little bit of paint. Go around it, okay? Make the whole line filled with dots, okay? So I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to speed up a little bit, okay? So you can do your own project. And what I am doing is, you see, I'm very gently, I'm going to follow dot by dot. I'm going to move my book around, my sketchbook, so it's easier for me to reach all the sides, okay? But I'm really going to go dot by dot, which means it's going to take a long time, okay? When I finish all the circle of my turtle, then I'm going to go over all the lines, and when I'm done with all the lines, I'm going to fill up with dots all over. One thing that is very important for the Aboriginal is to make circles with dots, because the circles, they represent a meeting place, or a place where they can meet, okay? The whole family, the whole community, and the whole tribe, all right? So let's speed up the paint a little bit. Here we go. Pretty cool, right? Look at that. Lines, dots, and shapes, right? Very cool. See, it's not like Aboriginal art, because, you know, the Aboriginal people, they're so amazing artists, and they spend hours and hours doing something. And I just try to do inspired by the Aboriginal people, okay? All right, so look at that. Oh man, I love it. What about my lizard, huh? Woo, woo, woo. Check it out, okay? So if you're a second grader, you can try to trace something, okay? A lizard, a snake. Oh, a snake. That's a good idea too, Miss R. Did you hear it? I guess there must be some Aboriginal people dancing around here. I think I'm gonna join them on a dance too, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Make some Aboriginal inspired art, alright? I would love to see it, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.